Sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah, had a great day yesterday. Got some things moving again, which was nice. It requires a lot of periods of patience sometimes to get things to really make some decent moves that you can grab those gains on. But they always happen, and it happens a lot throughout the course of a year. So if you're in it for the long game and you're,
Hey, let me say one thing, Micah. There were 10 trades yesterday, about equally between Apple and QQs. The Apple had one of the biggest returns we've ever had. Micah had a 40.80% return, one trade. And QQQs, he had a number of big trades, 21%, 27% plus, 17% plus. So really some big trades yesterday. And it was really exciting day. 10 trades, so that's good. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Really good stuff. You know, on one day can really change the course of your year if you're going to according to normal mutual funds numbers and things like that. But you know, it requires that patience because we're sitting down here pretty much every trading day of the year, and every day is certainly not like that. So you know, that's all part of the game, and realizing it's all one goal throughout your year. So, but yeah, yesterday was one of those days, and we'll see how today goes. And honestly, the nice thing about this technique is, and not to be like, don't take me wrong, it would be terrible. I don't wish this on our country, certainly, but if a recession happened, we'd probably actually make a lot of money on puts. You know, there'd be maybe some issues filling because people wouldn't be as active selling them, but there would be a lot of downward movement, and we can make money off of that. So that's a huge factor when considering the news that's going on.
Yeah, we can certainly make money in any direction, so that's always nice. Sideways action can get a little tricky, but we can still make money there.
That's why this is known as the pole dancer technique.
Ah, nice.
Up and down. Dow Jones is down 403.94 points.
It just completely washed out any of the gains it made yesterday, so that's unfortunate.
Well, washed out gains made in the market, not us.
Right. Oh yeah, in the market. Mm-hmm. A lot of back and forth here this morning, so. Got a question here. Question for you, Joe. Below this box, it says this session is being recorded. Is this recording available to us?
Hey, listen, let's record this session. Can you guys record it?
It's already being recorded.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is this recording available to us, the listeners?
Yeah, if this is a session like we didn't record yesterday, I really would have loved to have had it yesterday, and sure it is. And it'll be on YouTube. So there's one on YouTube now, but one of the very first sessions we had, it's been on there for weeks. And I'd like to replace it with a new one. So maybe today will be the one we replace it with. But it's on there now. So they stay on there forever.
Yep.
And I think we did, what, 40% on that video?
Yeah, 50th.
50?
Yeah. And it's got, I think, like 2,500 views or something like that. So it's
yeah, it's right at 3,000 now.
Oh wow.
Dang. great.
I haven't checked it in a while.
I checked it this morning. So.
Nice.
I wish we had yesterday's because it was the second day where we had this chat service, and so people could get a good idea of how y'all can address, what the chart's doing and when you're getting in, when you're getting out, and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Do we know for sure if it wasn't recorded?
Yes, it was not recorded yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I totally forgot about it, and Sue Ann was on vacation, and she normally would have recorded it, but Carol's making sure this was recorded. She just texted me before we started here, so.
Oh, gotcha.
The sideways action here is actually super common after a big gap, kind of after a big move, like yesterday morning, it went sideways for most of the day. Stocks get tired, and after a big move, there's not very many people playing with them because people just made and lost a lot of money, the big players on them. So they'll take a few minutes off, and that's when you see this type of action.
It's the nature of the market. It's amazing how, way up yesterday, and today it's way down. Why people go in there and voluntarily lose money? I don't know why that is. I guess that's the market.
Yeah, it's called human emotion.
Yeah. Same way it's happening with the bond market right now. I mean, rates keep going down. People just rushed in buying that stuff and at those almost non-existent rates.
Yeah.
When it turns, and I mean, they're stuck. They're going to have to sell out for a huge loss. But that's just what makes the world go round, I guess.
Yeah. For a question from Melissa here. To be clear on some basics, whether we trade call or put, we buy to open, correct, and sell to close. Yep. That is correct.
We had clients yesterday really took advantage of you guys. They beat you guys all over the place.
Oh yeah, yeah, fantastic numbers from a lot of them. Fantastic.
John had a good day. He didn't get eaten by. Remember I told you about the he and Emma just got back from Colorado, and they had the tarantulas walking across Colorado looking for bait. So I figured that they probably wouldn't get back, but they did. So,
yeah. Well, that's good. We're approaching a call position here.
Man, Apple's really pushing. I'm surprised that this is the direction for the day, or at least the open. But
well, it's getting better. It's only down 381 now. Apple.
Yeah, it's recovering a little bit.
At the end of this session, I send out a tweet that shows the total trades for the day, each individual trade. also send out that newsletter at the end of the day, but it just has the return for the day, the total net return for the day. It doesn't break it down by individual stocks. But the tweet, if you want to subscribe, it's capital C, capital S, capital E.
We're gonna prep a put here. 183 strike put on Q. We're gonna prep that, and let's go ahead and enter. Filled at 95 cents, up to 96 now. 97. Let's set a close for 98. And filled at 98 cents.
Okay, 3.15%, great.
Yep. Got in that one pretty quick, and it kind of moved on us pretty fast. But it was pushing down nicely here. I was anticipating it having a better push because of the position of E2 and E3, but wasn't the case. It's still hovering at 96 right now, so we'll see what happens on this here.
By watching the chain, you can tell how scared people are to buy calls. This Apple just pushed up like 20 cents really quickly, and the 210 bid ask was around 65 to start. It pushed up and only got to like 71, 72. But then it just like started to come back down. It started to show any weakness, and it immediately dropped back down to 63 on the bid ask. So in other words, it takes a lot more to push the option price up and it does back down, and that's something to be very aware of. That can work for you or against you. But when we're waiting for these moves, we're always watching the option chain and seeing how it's moving, what type of moves are actually affecting the option price, and really keeping a careful eye on that. So make sure you do that as well.
183 that we were just in is all the way up to $1.01, back down to 98 cents now, so dollar now. So gotten that a little early, but still hit the goal. That's $1.03 now. So we're going to well, we're gonna leave it as it is right now. But it's up to $1.03. So if there's anyone in there that is still in this trade, let us know. Would have made a really good 10-cent return on this. Got a question here from Peter. Please tell us what white, green, and blue lines are in the top chart. Those are just moving average lines. The green line is the moving average and pretty much the.
All right, Tony, I'm going to prep this put. Got setting up here.
$1.06 now on that call or that put a moment ago.
200 strike call on Apple. I mean strike put, sorry.
We're going to prep a 182.5.
Yeah, we filled that a couple seconds ago, 92 cents, and instantly taken off. This looks like yesterday.
We're going to fill at 97 cents. Oh, wow. $1.06 now.
Let's set a sell to close for $1.05.
Let's set a close for $1.08. Well, let's move that up to, yeah, let's get it out at $1.08. filled at $1.08.
We're gonna hop out at 101 there, and tick boom out at 101.
Wow, that took off on us there. We're watching the chart. We got a huge push down here on the tick. This was E1 was pushing down nicely.
And that, guys, is exactly why you watch the option chain. We saw the price action on the call side. It was struggling so hard. The tick was slowly climbing up, but it was struggling to make anything on the actual option price. What matters to us. The second the put opened up at all, everyone's like, yep. Because since the open, everybody's had their finger on the trigger of the put. Just like us. We walked in this morning thinking, all right, we're going to buy some puts today.
Why are your trades, Mike? Why are your trades always so emotional and have some personality to them?
Because the stock market does. There's so much in it, and it's amazing, and I love it, and I am passionate about it. Okay.
What was the return on that Apple trade, and what was the return on that last QQ trade?
Gets me excited, Joe.
So yeah.
If you haven't figured it out. 9 cents on 92, 9.7%.
Fantastic.
And 11.3 on Q. If you follow along on Q, we were talking over each other, so we had a little bit of a delay there, but it filled at 97 cents, and then immediately it hopped up 6-7 cents up to $1.03, $1.04 by the time I was able to announce it. But if you're able to get in around $1, $2, $3, sometime around there, still would have had 6-7 cents of profit. So really strong move there right here at about 9.44. But back to the white, green, and blue lines. The only one you need to concern yourself really is the white line, M1. That's the kind of like the lead dog in the moving averages. So wherever this white line goes, the green and blue follow. Okay. So they're just they're different levels of support and resistance. And the tick either, so in this position right now, the tick is using the M1 line, the white line, as its resistance point. So whenever we see a tick bouncing up and down off of the white line on the put position, and it doesn't cross it, then we can anticipate the tick to continue in a downward position, and vice versa. If it's in a call position, the white line M1 is considered what we have, what we've called support. And so once it crosses that, typically we can anticipate it having a momentum change, as it just did here. It crossed white. It was in the red for a while now. Just crossed the white line, and now we got a green arrow. So that's what we're talking about, and that's kind of what to pay attention to. It's not a significant factor. It's just another confirmation that we like to use, but
it's something I found myself using in lower volatility markets. I'll use it as an exit. So let's say if I bought a call right here, which I absolutely wouldn't, but let's say I did, expecting it to go up. If it crossed down through M1, I would probably cut my loss at that point. It's just a nice thing. Yeah, a nice confirmation for sure.
Another feedback from Sam. Hi, I'm learning. I got into the first QQQ trade at the 182.5 strike and for 84 cents. Stayed in until getting out at $1.03 with 19% gross profit. That's a 22% profit. That is an awesome job, Sam. Great stuff. That's the highest trade thus far today, so that's fantastic stuff.
I think that's the highest singular client trade we've seen.
How much was it?
No, there's a higher one yesterday, but for today, that's great.
How much was this one today?
22.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. George.
Now Sam's monthly charge goes up. Remember we started that yesterday. We modified it and we need to bill for a different amount this time.
I don't think it was a very popular idea.
So George has got a question. We get this question a lot. I'm watching the option prices tick with you guys and seeing prices 4 to 8 cents less on your fills. I am watching the option chain as you do this, and my prices are much higher. I'm using E-Trade real-time quotes. What am I doing wrong? George, you're not doing anything wrong. Just like, for instance, if you're, took away the, that 4 to 8 cents difference, we were talking over each other, Micah and I were. And when that happens, there's a lot of volatility, like we just saw. The prices tend to move extremely fast. So by the time we get to say, hey, we fill that, whatever, it's already moved, 4, 5, 6 cents. But usually with that high of volatility, you can still get in and trade and see profitability. The key is here is to, anticipate and predict the chart as we are showing y'all, and then, get into the trade at some point, maybe even before we're able to announce it. We said, we're going to prep this, and then it just kind of moves really quick out of nowhere. So we had to hop in really fast. So that does occasionally happen. It's an inherent delay that there is with the webinar. We can't relay the same pricing sometimes as what we see on the screen, because it's just it's either moving too fast and we're talking over each other and whatnot. So it does occur sometimes, but the key here is to learn and understand why we entered in on that position, and then like, for instance, Sam, I believe, entered in a while ago and stayed in, and was able to get 20-cent profit. So that's just a good testament of understanding the charting, understanding the teaching, and then making your own decisions based off what we are teaching here. So, don't try to get too concerned about how much our fills are off, because kind of missing the whole point. But so we got some really good moves there. Joe, where are we at so far?
You're at 24.15, and we're what 20-something minutes into the market. So
yeah, that's fantastic. 23 minutes.
Yep.
Surprisingly, the overall direction for the day on Apple is very, very solidly a call. We opened close to 203, and we're trying to break up through 206 now. Had one significant put, which we caught, and the rest has been pretty solid push-ups. So got E1 a little bit high to hop in here, and that option movement is pretty delayed, pretty slow.
Again, if you want to get these things at the end of the day by tweet, it's capital C, capital S, capital E, TWIT, twit. It's not capital, it's twit, which is a dumb tweet. Apple's improved a lot, so it's only down $2.97 now. So
yeah, it's just an average day for it now.
Yeah. A lot of volume, 5.8 million shares plus.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty significant for sure.
About 7 million here on.
Apple ought to be going up, because it's, President released or backed off on a bunch of those tariffs coming in at the end of this month. We moved it to the middle to the end of December, and electronics, consumer electronics was one of them. So.
Yeah, decent movement, but still that the jagged teeth we talk about are still very present. Certainly, got a lot of up down. And when we talk about teeth, we're talking about it's a very momentum based strategy. So if something starts to take off, you get this effect when every time it starts to take off, it gets rejected right away. So you'll see that sharp point of straight up to straight down. And then same thing on the bottom, straight down to straight up, because it gets rejected from going downwards too. So you can catch moves, but our common entry point is right around the point at which it gets rejected, because that's when, if it does succeed, that's when the most speed and the momentum happens. So these are the dates we are usually pretty cautious on. Just
question here from Michael. Question for both. Do you use candles or the line chart? If you use candles, do they help you recognize exhaustion? No, we don't use candles. We just use the lines. And exhaustion is found in the E lines. You can kind of see exhaustion phases in the E lines here. So we don't use candles. Candles can get kind of there's too much information. Personally, I think there's too much information given off by candles, and that can get confusing. So we try to, we want to have a smooth presentation of the charts. Then that helps us, with complicated moves and stuff like that. We're able to see it a little more clearly. So I don't like candles personally.
Yeah, I agree. I like candles for long term, but at this speed, there's just too much going on already with the simplified charts we have, And
I want to point out exhaustion. That's more of like a momentum trading term. We aren't really in trades long enough for exhaustion, to be honest, because the whole key here is to have a pre-planned profit target before we enter. We always try to get 4 or 5 cents or whatnot, and then sometimes we change that so to 3 cents, or maybe like our last trade, it just kept going up, so we just kind of canceled it and moved on. But if you're staying in a trade to the point of exhaustion, you've stayed in too long in this type of trading. So
micro moment trades are sprint trades, and the other ones are milers, whatever they call long runs. So,
yeah, long distance.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's more of a momentum technique and understanding. It's good to read that on on the charts, just so you can get better at reading the charts. But you don't really need to be concerned with that as much. Well, Michael says there she blows, referring to the clock.
Yeah, there you go.
potentially another put setting up here. We'd be looking at the probably the 200.
200 Strike put.
George says, just entered the 187 call on QQQ while you guys were talking. He got in at $1.05 and got out at $1.10.
Fantastic.
Combination of watching the option chain and charts. Awesome stuff there, George. That's exactly what you should do each time. So that's fantastic. Little under 5% return is great.
Pause here at the bottom. Let's go ahead and hop in. Got in there for 77. There we go, getting a bit of a push. Set a sell to close for 81. Let's not be greedy.
Let's prep a 182.5.
Stop out for 80. Let's see, just get back out at 78 if you can. Still adjusting around. Let me see.
Might have just caught the back end of this.
All right, out at 79, just there. So 2 cents. Yeah.
Go ahead and hop in, filled at 93 cents. That was a while ago. Just went up to 95. Let's set us up close for 96 and just get out of this real quick. Filled at 96 cents. There we go. A little bit of a delay there, but was able to catch the back end of this move. So let's see what that is.
Yeah, my timing was a little off there, to be honest. I was a little bit late. Should have entered around like 74, 75 probably. I didn't enter till 77, and then it pushed all the way to 82, 83 the first time, and it hit 83, 84 that time. So,
Hey guys, I was on the phone. I missed the Apple. What's your return on that one? And I need your return on that last QQQ.
Q was 3.2.
Okay, good. What about your Apple?
Apple was 2.5.
Okay, good. Thank you.
That 182.5 is up to $1.01 now, moving nicely. So if anyone got in there kind of late, it's pushing down really nice to $1.05. Let's go ahead and prep a 182. Strike put. It's really pushing down here significantly. Yeah, we, myself included, hopped into this trade a little.
Sorry, buddy, we're going to re-enter this. Let's see. Trying to figure this out. The spread's opening up kind of wide. I don't want it to bounce back on me. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, really quick corrections too, and from like the 90s to low 80s in that little correction. I'm looking at the 200 straight put still. Sorry, not the call.
All right, go ahead and hop in right now. Filled at 94 cents a little bit ago. It's down to 93s right now. 95. Let's set us at a close for. Let's try to get 96 out of it. See if we can get. We got 96. Let's push it up to 97. See if we can get 1 more cent. And back down to 96. Out at 96.
What were you at for?
94.
So 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that gives us 2.12. Good.
Yeah, that was. We hopped into this trade. I did specifically hopped into this trade pretty late. We should have entered around the 10 o'clock, 10:01 mark. And that's where it was sitting at. I was watching it here. It was sitting at like 87 cents. And it's pushed all the way up to $1.03. So we could have had, so if there's someone that got in earlier than me, kudos to you. Send us the results. But yeah, I just kind of got in this little push of momentum here kind of late. And you can see that.
Y'all are at 31.97 now. It's good.
All right.
What, 37 minutes into the market?
Yeah, it's really good movement there.
Apple's trying to cycle up a little bit here. Just waiting for our chance. Couple more questions. There she blows.
Susan says just made 3 cents on the QQQ put trade for 3.1 gain. Real money. Awesome job, Susan. It's fantastic.
See, she beat you again, Tony.
Yeah, I know. And we all probably entered that a little late, so we could have got even more out of that. But that's fantastic, Susan. Good stuff.
Six trades so far. That's good.
It's really good.
This is cycling up, and E1's moving up really fast, but it's not really driving the chain or the stock proportionately. So I'm assuming we're gonna get tired and turn back down pretty quickly, but we'll see. I got a pinch here.
Deshaun says 2 trades on SPY, 3.7 and 9.0. Fantastic. That's 12.7 for the day. Awesome stuff there, Deshaun. Really good numbers. Let's see. Rhoda says, I'm getting into trades quickly enough now, but I'm having trouble getting out quickly enough due to just having to hit a lot of keys. Would a hotkey work better to eliminate keystrokes? Yeah. If you can, get very comfortable enough with hotkeys, I definitely recommend trying to use those. And it does get very difficult to do that, to get out pretty quickly when you have to, click a lot of buttons and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely try to use.
What I do, Rhoda, that might might also work for you is I have an order screen on the bottom of my option chain, and it may be different depending on your platform. But I have a little ticket window on the bottom of my option chain that stays put no matter what. So if I click on a strike price, it'll autofill my type, expiration strike, destination term, price type, all that. And I can adjust my quantity and price and click buy to open. As it sends my order, that screen stays exactly how it is. And there's a sell to close button right next to the buy to open button. And all I have to do without touching anything else is adjust my price and then hit the other button. So that's a really nice way to do it as well. I find that's even a little faster for me than hotkeys because of the way E-Trade's hotkeys work. They don't actually enter the trade for you. They just position your price. So. I got E1 crossing back down now after not much of a push up as we expected. I think I said it was going to get tired and turn around at like 205.35, and it got to 205.40. So pushing down again now, but I mean on the downside it's becoming the same thing. It's not really pushing down very fast at all, so I'm not in a huge hurry to jump into this.
Let's see. Questions here. Tony, this is from David. Tony, same issue. I also use TD. I'm chunking on getting in and out. Can you talk a bit about how you've learned to best navigate Thinkorswim so you can get in and out more seamlessly? Yeah, I mean, honestly, for Thinkorswim, to get in a trade and out of a trade very quickly, number one, to get in, just hold down the shift and right click, and it automatically enters you. It's one of the hotkeys. If you have questions about setting that up, call Thinkorswim, the customer support desk, and they can better walk you through that. But that's why we always want to set our sell to close. As soon as we get in a trade, we already have a predetermined profit target of 3, 4 cents, whatever it is. Set that. And you know, let it sit and try and just adjust that accordingly, because the reason we want to set that sell to close is that's a computer, and the computer sees the numbers before the numbers hit the screen. Okay, and so it can enter in at prices that you don't even see yet, and it happens all the time. So that's why it's very important to have a predetermined profit target, and then you set your sell to close according to what you want to get out of the trade. So I can't tell you how many times I've you know, set a sell to close and it hits without me even seeing the actual number on the bid price. So make sure you set that. That'll help you get out of really funky trades. But then when it moves pretty hard, you have to learn how to, you know, cancel that sell to close and then just reset it. But the best people to talk about that, if you got more questions, is TD Ameritrade or E-Trade. Just give them a call. They'll schedule a call with you, and they'll, you know, take 30 minutes to just talk to you about hotkeys and how to enter trades faster, stuff like that. So they're probably a lot more knowledgeable about that. Rhoda, thanks, Micah. Could you send a screenshot of that in the works? Landon, Tony, do you set the order to trigger the sell to close when you enter the buy to open on Thinkorswim? Yeah, just said that. As soon as I enter, try to get my sell to close in as fast as possible, and then if I need to, I'll adjust accordingly. But that's why you need to have a predetermined profit target before you enter the trade, or as you're entering the trade. Make sure you have a predetermined amount, and that'll help with that. David, agree. T to support is really helpful. Okay. Michael, recommendation for Micah: keep a close eye on your cat today. Okay.
Oh, my cat, true. That was so funny.
That's funny.
The cat unmuted my mic the other day, and
that's funny.
Yeah, we commenting on it.
From Reese, do you use a predetermined loss limit too? Great question, Reese. No. I do not, because if I'm seeing it that I'll give it, maybe in my mind 2 or 3 cent stop loss buffer. Or if I see any stalling at all at the price I entered at, then I'll just get out pretty quickly after, because with the timing of this and when to enter these, you should enter it and it should move in the direction that you want, or that you predicted. And if it doesn't, hang around for a couple seconds, and then if it still keeps stalling at that price, get out. And that's just a practice you want to keep rehashing every single day. Stall or moving back a cent, get out. Stall, get out. You don't want to dabble with it, and you're creating a habit to where if worst case it does stall and then it just comes out of nowhere and tanks 7-8 cents, you got out at the stalling point and you were able to manage your losses there rather than take it at 7 or 8 cents. So great question, Reese. Ben,
to clarify one thing.
Was that
the 1 second here. To clarify one thing, on a day like yesterday, we weren't yes, we do have a predetermined goal for each trade. Yesterday we weren't going into trades looking for 10 to 20 cents. That just happens sometimes. And a guy a while ago asked us what wow means, because we say that a lot. We'll enter a trade, say we filled here, oh wow. If you hear us say that, that means that we went to set that sell to close at our goal, and by the time we click through to get there, it's already way past. And then we'll adjust it more, and by the time we adjust to it, it's past. So what that does is it grants you a super solid, consistent technique to make the 3-4% we can on, every single little trade. And that's our baseline. Everything else is a bonus. The 10-20% we hit a lot of the time is not the goal. Because going for 10 or 20% hits in the long run is going to make you lose, because when you're up for 3 or 4% or 5%, you're not going to take it. You're going to hold on for that bigger gains. I've done it, and it's a losing strategy. I can tell you that. So everything past that, 3 to 6% is just a bonus, because it's moving so fast that we can't even get out for a profit, and it's going in our direction. And that happens on days like yesterday. So just keep that in mind when we make the big gains. People magnetize towards that, and that's all they can think about. And they're like, oh, I want to make 15% on this. You have to, we're not actively making percentages. We're just taking what the market gives us. We're pulling things out of it. If the market moves, we'll pull some out of it, and just taking bits and pieces out of. Some days they're bigger than others, but it's never forcing a trade. It's never staying in longer than we should or anything like that. Just keep that in mind.
It seems to me we need to have a page that we just send everybody that has definitions and like, oh wow, and you give a definition of that. What are some of those other words you've invented for the trading community?
Yeah, oh wow, and snuffed, and pansy.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Question from Ben. I never hear anyone talk about interactive brokers at a platform. Have you guys looked at it, or do you have a negative opinion of it? Thanks. No, I mean, the reason why I'm going to talk about it is I've never used it, but I know they have free missions.
I can tell you. I've used them. They're good. They're good. They're really would probably be good for micro moment because they're very industry oriented. Great fills. They're most of our European clients use them. They are fast. They're good. But if you don't understand something, it's going to be hell ever get them to respond to you. They just don't give good customer service. But as far as a great trading program, if you don't have to ask any questions, they're absolutely fantastic. So, but they're used to dealing with pros, and pros don't ask many questions. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I heard they are pretty fast, and I don't have any commission, so that's good. David says, thanks for the discussion. Great stuff. David also says, add Joe's twit to your definition list. Okay.
Yeah, Joe, I can say I've never heard that word before.
Yeah. I've heard it in a negative way.
A twit is just a dumb tweet,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Joseph, for Micah, on your E-Trade Pro platform, do you have 2 order tickets open, one for buy and one for sell? Difficult practicing on E-Trade paper accounts, not in real time. Screenshot would be helpful, thanks.
Yeah, I sent the screenshot to Joe. I think he can forward that to you. Who sent that to us?
Joseph.
Joseph, yeah.
Send me an email, joseph@compoundstockearnings.com. So I'll have your email address. I'll shoot you that picture of his screen.
Yeah, or Joseph, if you have access to E-Trade Pro, I know their paper trading is on Power E-Trade, the old Trade Monster platform. But if you have your E-Trade Pro platform open, all you need to do is go to your option chain tool, and then let me find it. It's simply, yeah, so you don't even have to open anything up. Right at the bottom, on the bottom bar, in the bottom left-hand corner, it just says show order entry. And there's a little arrow. All you got to do is click on that, and it'll bring up that ticket, and that's locked in place. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see buy to open, sell to close, sell to open, and buy to close. And that all just stays right there. So you don't have to have multiple tickets up, which is nice. So.
Also, I might want to say something about commissions. If you go to, if you want commission-free trades, you might check out Merrill Lynch, or just Merrill now, I guess. You have to have an account there. If it's got a certain amount, it's not a lot of money, you get so many free trades. If you got a lot of money, you get all 100% free trades. And for options, stock, exactly what we're doing here. So, no commissions.
Another question here from David. Tony on TD. Can you talk about when and how you lead? Yeah, it's just really easy. To be honest, I don't really use the leading technique too much because usually I'm able to get in a little bit before I have to lead. And usually if I do have to lead, I don't even get into trade because, you know, it's just kind of difficult to get in sometimes. So, but if I do it, I just pull up the, you know, right click on whatever option it is and then set my limit order, you know, plus 1 cent above the ask and just enter right there. I mean, it's actually really simple, really easy. and just look at 1 cent or 2 cent above the ask price of where you're at currently, and you should be getting in. But on QQQ, it's so liquid and has a lot of, you know, available options, even more than Apple, and so it's actually a little easier to get fills than Apple is. So you don't run into that as much. They do happen when it's like extremely volatile and it moves, you know, 6 cents in a second, but not as much as Apple though.
You know, let me make my point, since this is being recorded, this will end up on YouTube. The trades you guys do every week, but particularly yesterday and today, these huge returns. Remember, if you take $2,000, open a brokerage account, never add any money whatsoever, and just do one 6% trade a week, just one. In 24 months, you got over $800,000. Then you start taking 6% of that once a week, and leave the other 6%ers in there, and keep compounding, and you're going to be pulling out 6% of $800,000, you know, a month. So, and you're through. You know,
Yeah.
Then you can go to school. You won't do waste your time.
Exactly.
Very true. I know from experience.
There you go. You're not old enough to get any experience. What are you talking about? All you do is invent words and get emotional. You have emotional trades, you know. Most people don't realize, I've said it a couple of times since we started doing these, but Mike is also a great, what kind of singer is it? Karaoke singer. Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible. Is there? Guys, send us questions and weigh in on that. Is it possible to be a good karaoke singer? I don't think those words go together, but we'll get a poll. Joe.
Yeah. Another question from David. SPY's volume is typically double QQQ's. Does that imply it even more liquid, more easy to fill, and more easy to fill larger contract orders? Yes. Yeah. SPY is the largest ETF that we have, and yeah, much more liquid even than Q. However, it takes a little bit slower time to move. It still moves pretty fast, but not as fast as Q. So, you know, tit for tat, whatever.
Give you a good example. QQQ volume is 9.2 million as I speak, and SPY's volume is 20.5 million. A lot of volume. Yeah.
Yep. But because it's so big, it doesn't actually move or is as volatile as Q is at some points. But yeah, great. SPY is great. I trade it sometimes. I've done it before. I had good success there. So, and the cool thing is, like, you know, these charts, these apply to all ETFs and stocks. So you can, you know, click in whatever you want, and boom, you know, you got that company, you got that ETF pulled up, and same rules apply to everything. So, question from Reese. Can you explain what E4 is telling us? Just a volume indicator. We don't really use that as a predictive, like momentum indicator or anything like that. It's just used for current time volume. That is, you know, what's showing us on, and you can kind of see the relationship between the space or the range of the Bollinger Bands and the height of the volume sticks, I guess you could say, whatever they are. So whenever the Bollinger Bands are tight, you usually have a very small volume tick down here, and that just shows you that there's not a lot of volume. And what you see on your Bollinger Bands is the same thing. It's just really tight, not much up and down movement, pretty flat. So not used for any predictive nature as E1, 2, and 3 are used. So just like a nice reference point, pretty much. David, Micah, sing us a little tune and let us be the judge of how good or bad you are.
That is a terrible idea, David.
Maybe on the cruise he has enough drinks.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't even old enough to drink the first time. I was just that crazy, I guess.
Was that the one with the ice bar? Well, it was, wasn't it? Had the table that was ice, or the bar that was ice?
Yeah. Yep. The martini bar.
Yeah.
Was frozen, the whole thing. That's the first time I also saw. That's an interest of mine, guys. I love cocktails, mixology. It's fascinating to me. And one of the first times I ever saw, I don't even know what they call it, a multi-pour, I guess. This guy stacked up like,
Oh yeah,
like the martini shakers with ice in them, and then liquid in the ice, and stacked them all, and they were like a half curve, and lined up all these little martini glasses, like stacked them into a tower, and he poured all of them at the same time. They're all different colors. He had like 10 streams going down at once. It was amazing.
and that was just my order.
Exactly. 20 mini martinis for Joe. No, you're drinking vodka, just vodka shaken, I believe, with a twist.
No, up. It's just up with a cherry, not a twist.
Gotcha. What's your vodka choice?
I don't really do it anymore, but the reason I use the cherry is after you've had 2 or 3 martinis, they over here at the grill, they put a new cherry in each time. So if I had 2 of them, I have 2 cherries, right? Well, they're absorbing that alcohol. And I can do this in Puerto Rico. I can't do it here because the fire code came down on me. But at the end, when you're through, you put those cherries in your mouth. You take a cigarette lighter. You bite on those cherries and, light that lighter, and a flame blows out. So
serious.
Yeah.
That's really cool, actually.
After I burned down one place here in Fort Worth, they won't let me do it anymore.
That's terrifying.
That's funny.
So if you want to go back and visit this session later on, it should be on YouTube a little later on today. So, and it'll just stay on there. We've got a new website for micro moment trading that is complete now, and I think they're going to release it tomorrow maybe. So it'll be a website, its own website.
Yep, that'll be good. Question here, or comment, I guess, from Kathy. Yes, Micah, you are a good karaoke singer. Oh, and my vote is for a European cruise. Kathy has been pushing for a cruise since we started.
Yeah, I think Kathy's been on every cruise we've done, the Hawaiian cruises, the Mediterranean cruise, the Caribbean cruise, the Bahamian cruise. She's on all of them. She's a cruise lady.
That's funny. From Michael, is yesterday's session on YouTube? It is not. We did not have it recorded, unfortunately. We should put this one up there today. So should have this one up. We already have one up. Like Joe said, it's about 3,000 views now, so that was only a month and a half ago.
Yep.
So good stuff. All right. Well, I think I'm going to head off for now.
Yeah, it's sideways.
It's yeah, pretty sideways here, kind of just dead and slow moving. So, but overall, Joe, what do we end out for the day?
We're plus 31.97% over 6 trades.
Nice. And what's for the week? Do you have that pulled up?
Hold on a second. Let me just tell you real quick. We had Monday, we had 19.07. We had 140.45 yesterday, and today 31.97 today. So 191.49.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic stuff. 200% of just about in 3 days. So another great week, and we will talk to everybody tomorrow morning.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Hey, Mike, remember to cut your mic off.
Will do.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
See you later.